You're listening to the Firecast with Scott Roberts.
This is the Firecast Podcast, episode 70. I pick my best products of the year for 2014.
Strap yourselves in. It's time for the Firecast. This is the podcast for all foodies who love food that is cooked over a fire or feels like fire in your mouth. If you love spice, smoke, sauce, and all things savory, this is the show for you. And now, here's your host, chili head and barbecue expert, Scott Roberts.
And a big hearty welcome and hello and happy holidays to my fellow foodies, chili heads, barbecue fans, and those just starting to get into the foods that I cover here, which are the spicy, the saucy, the flavorful, and the smoky. Again, I am Scott Roberts, blogger, columnist for Chili Pepper Magazine, and your host for the next half hour, 45 minutes. This podcast is always of indeterminate length, and this is a special episode that I do at the end of every year where I cover my favorite, what I think are the best food enhancer products of the year. I've informally and kind of tongue-in-cheek called them the Scott V's, with formal apologies to Dave DeWitt of the Scovie Awards. Well, these are kind of the Scott V's, where I name off what I think are the best hot sauces, barbecue sauces, condiments, stuff in spicy food that I've encountered in the past 12 months that I think are the creme de la creme, the things that you should definitely have in your kitchens. If you're curious to find out what I picked in the past, you can either go to thefirecast.com or, well, probably a better destination is my main blog at scottrobertsweb.com. Even for a few years before I started the podcast, I had listed out what I thought were the best products of the year, dating back to, I think, 2008 or 2009. So there are many different categories. So I invite everyone to go over to scottrobertsweb.com at your earliest convenience and look that kind of stuff up. So anyway, the best of 2014, that is going to be the main segment of this podcast. For the Ken's Fiery World segment, my good friend and colleague Ken Alexander has some product reviews from a couple of companies. One is called Blazin Bob's Hot Pepper, and the other is Half Crocked Chef. And what he covers are pretty much powders, seasonings, seasoned salts. So instead of there being a regular review segment from me, I'm just going to go ahead and, so to speak, defer to Ken this week as to get his take on some savory and spicy food additives. And in my regular tip, I tell you how to properly warm up taco shells. So I just have a little bit of housekeeping this week. One, if you're on iTunes, I would just ask you to please rate and review the Firecast. And to do that, it's very simple. Just go to thefirecast.com/iTunes, and that will take you to the official iTunes webpage for the Firecast. Click on the blue button on the left-hand side. That will open up the actual app on your PC or Mac to the Firecast page within iTunes. And in there, you can rate and review the show. And you know what? I'm not looking for all 5-star reviews. Of course, they are greatly appreciated. I want you guys to be honest, what you think of the show. But in general, any type of feedback, ratings, activity within iTunes will boost the actual rankings of the Firecast within the podcast listings. So that will gain visibility for the Firecast. It will attract new eyeballs, the foodies who love hot sauces, chili peppers, grilling, and barbecue. It'll help expose some of the great sauce manufacturers that I feature on the Firecast, and some of the crucial information given by a lot of the guests. So if you do that, it will be a win-win for everybody. And also, in general, I would just like your feedback. I want to hear from you. Every email that I get, I personally read. And once or twice a year, I have a special feedback episode of the Firecast, where I read off some of the best letters that you have written. So things that are positive, things that are negative, any constructive criticism you might have, suggestions, ideas for the show, guests that you want me to have on. If you yourself are a food company and you want to be featured on the Firecast, by all means, let me know about you, and I will definitely take you into consideration. And to give me feedback, it's just like everything else, super simple. Go to thefirecast.com/contact, fill out the easy web form, and tell me whatever it is that's on your mind. So let's go ahead and get to the regular segments here on the Firecast podcast.
And now, the foodie tip of the week.
My tip this time out is how to properly heat up taco shells. Now, if you're one just like me, whenever you have crunchy taco shells, you will get the store-bought kind. Of course, I make my own soft taco shells. But for the crunchy ones, yes, I still will use the store-bought kind. They're good enough for my taste, for my family's taste. And if you ever heat them up, whether it be the oven or the microwave, you will find out that they will kind of fold in on themselves, because a little bit of that oil in between will make them kind of soft and pliable. Now, to prevent that, arrange 4 taco shells. Think of a cardboard box, how you had the 4 flaps on top, and how you could overlayer each one to where one corner is folded over the next, and that corner is folded over the next, and that flap is folded over the next. Arrange the crunchy taco shells in that same way, where they kind of prop up one another. And that way, when they're heated up and they start to become warm and soft, they won't flatten out. They won't fold in on themselves like they used to. And it will allow you to have a regular, good, huge amount of space for all of your taco fillings.
And now, here is Ken's Fiery World.
Good evening, Ken. How's everything going on in your fiery world?
Man, it is flaming up today, Scott. It's been start of the day in Baton Rouge, and I'm ending this evening talking to you from a hotel in Shreveport. So I've got meetings going on, so the day job's full tilt as we're heading into the holiday, or actually into the holiday season. But my life is good, man. They're all good days, just some maybe a little better than others.
Well, glad to hear it. So I understand you have a review for us this time.
I do. I think talk about 2 companies that have sent me product that I've been using for a while and that warrant some mention. One I've had for a good while is a company called Blazin Bob's Hot Pepper. So, and it's Blazin Bob's hotpepper.com, all one word, Blazin, B-L-A-Z-I-N, Bob's Hot Pepper. And he has 2 products. He has got a pepper blend. And both of them are blends of cayenne, habanero, and jalapenos. Mm-hmm. And so he's got one that's that he estimates to be about 100,000 Scovilles in his blend. And then he's got the same blend that's a little lighter in the Scovilles, about 80,000 is his estimate, what he puts on his label, that is also infused with hickory smoke. So interesting. And I've been, I met Bob. Bob contacted me quite some time ago. And then I met Bob at the New York show into last March, and he gave me some of his powders. And I've been using them ever since, but have not done a public review. I gave him some private feedback, and we talked back and forth a little bit. And he's been I've put his company up on the blog, and using his powders through the year, at first I thought, well, it's going to be pedestrian, right? It's going to be just a normal, pepper blend product, but he does something in his grind where these blends are extremely fine. And what I find is they dissolve very well. They do great mixed with salt. If you want to do your own pepper-infused sea salt, you can mix his with the sea salt, and it binds to the salt very well. Mm-hmm. So I've used his stuff on popcorn. The regular pepper blend, from a flavor context, it's like you expect from a cayenne, habanero, and jalapeno. It's not, in all honesty, it's not something that's going to say, wow, this is different and unique, because I really don't think that it is. Mm-hmm. But the product, the way he grinds it and the way it presents, and so it increases the use put in, and it dissolves fully and easily. But his smoked product, his smoked blend does have some uniqueness to it because of the combination of the grind, and his mix of peppers. It's not an overly hot product. So for somebody who likes kind of a cayenne hot, maybe a little bit higher end than a cayenne hot pepper blend, this is a good product. And it's versatile. Anything I've mixed it with other rubs that were mild. I've put it with barbecue sauces that were where I didn't have a good small batch barbecue sauce maker. In our house, Sweet Baby Ray's is kind of a big ticket store-bought brand. Stubbs is another one that we use at the house. And I mixed some of Bob's powder, smoked powder, in with these barbecue sauces to use off and on. And they do a very, very good job. Mm-hmm. Very smart. So, for, like I said, 2 products, guy getting started in the industry, good guy, has got a nice niche with his smoked product, a really nice grind, a really nice fine powder pepper blend. So for the foodies that are out there, and I know we talked about, foodies and folks getting started down that journey when we did our kitchen gadget episode. And so this would be a neat, just an adjunct product to have on your shelf to play with it, using it, combining it with other spices, to combine it with salts, combine it with other sauces of some kind, to where you wouldn't get any grits, you wouldn't get a feel, you would just get that flavor. So if you like a smoked flavor, his Blazin Bob's Smoke is what he calls it, would be an excellent choice. And I would give that product a 4 Fiery Worlds.
Very good.
Yeah, it's solid. That's something that I will buy again when I run out. So, and we've talked about both of our collections being pretty robust of sauces that we use. And so for me to say, hey, this would be on my list of routine rebuys, says something to me. The standard powder, his 100,000 Scoville without the smoke, I don't know if it would be a rebuy for me. I would give that probably 2.5 Fiery Worlds on just kind of its average in nature, but I'd bump it a half a world for the versatility from the fine powdery grind that he gets. Mm-hmm. That I don't find when you get off the shelf Zatarain's or McCormick's or whoever's cayenne pepper that you're getting a much coarser type grind and blend. And I think there's a lot more usage in this. So 2.5 to 3 on his regular product, and a 4 Fiery Worlds on his smoke.
Very good. Very good. And again, where can you find this product?
At BlazinBobsHotPepper.com. So, and I'll send you, he's out of Holbrook, New York. So I'll send you that website to where maybe you can put it up in the show notes.
And I will always do that with all the links that we have in these podcast episodes. So yeah, just look in the show notes for this particular episode, and that will be up there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And the second product line is a lady out of your home state, out of Missouri. From, I believe, the other side of the state, though, is the Half Crocked Chef, and she is out of Cole Camp, Missouri.
Cole Camp, yeah. And I just looked that up here on Google Maps, and it's probably about an hour or two away from Kansas City.
Okay. Well, that's where they're based from. And she just got her products. She sent me products back in the summer to try, and I told her, look, that I was busy and things going on, but she was looking for some personal and private feedback. And so I used, as I do with everybody who sends me stuff, is I'll give them, if they want private feedback, I'll do that. So she sent me 4 products, and she has a collection of infused salts and spice blends. What I got were in small kind of, I guess, tester jars. And when you go to her website, which is halfcrockedchef.com, you'll see the product listings. They are now in grinders. Mm-hmm. She also has her products on Amazon.com under the in single words, Half Crocked Chef. And I looked that up today, and she's got a list, and her tag is called Be Well. I'm sorry. It's the Be Well brand, and she's got a logo for that. And she's got several products, and I'm going to just really kind of focus on a couple of them that really stood out. She sent me a roasted Scorpion's Ghost. I'll mention all of them, though. Roasted Scorpion's Ghost, which is essentially a salt. That is sea salt infused with garlic and ghost pepper mustard, scorpion pepper, and some scorpion pepper sauce and ghost pepper powder. It's got a decent bite to it. It's a little clumpy. It's good to season things with, but outside of that, it was okay. It didn't have a unique enough flavor to where I would be really concerned about competing adversely with other products, since it is basically an infused salt. So it's a decent product. It's got a decent flavor. She blends her flavors well. That's a fair product, and that would be probably a 2.5 Fiery World for me. Mm-hmm. Her popped ghost pepper sea salt is pretty unique. It's a sea salt with mustard, red habs, butte jolokia, ghost pepper powder, and curry powder. And under the website, she's marketing this in that Be Well branded grinder as a popped ghost pepper curry sea salt. And I've tried to find, and are you familiar with popped salt, Scott?
Popped salt? I don't even know if I've heard the term before.
I had not, and so I tried to look it up and really couldn't, but I'm sitting here looking at this stuff, And it's sea salt that's in a granular, but it's got a little bit different texture to it. But this would be really cool in some Indian dishes. It's got the curry with it is really smartly done. It's got a nice bite. You get the upfront salt, so you get that quick salt that you want, and then you get some heat, and then all of a sudden as the heat starts to layer in, you pick up the curry. And if people, I think curry is kind of a love-hate thing. What I usually find is there's very few people that just are so-so about curry, take it or leave it. Most people say, ooh, I love curry, or they really don't. From folks that I interact with, and for me, and I happen to be a curry fan. She does need to kind of change. If her label's not any different, she did say this contains the world's hottest chili with the Butte. So she needs to kind of watch her, she's a little behind the times there. But a really good flavor. It's a very coarse texture, and it's, like I said, the popped, I don't know what she does differently to pop it. I need to ask her that. And you can always go on her website and send her a contact. She has a contact us and ask her that question as well. But this is another, product I'm going to give like a 3.5 Fiery Worlds, because it's not so versatile. You can use it for anything because of the curry. But in that genre of product, it would be a great adjunct to types of flavor profiles that you're doing. I enjoy that. Mm-hmm. The last product that I do not see on her website, so I'm not going to give it a big mention, and it's unfortunate because it was my favorite thing she sent me, was a honey called Beware Honey.
Beware, okay.
And Beware, W-A-R-E, 3 words, Beware Honey. And it's honey that's got ghost pepper and mustard. She loves mustard. And it's also got curry. It is very unique, and it makes a lousy tea. I tried it in some tea, not so good.
Mustard and tea,
but I really shouldn't be surprised. It's got that mustard and curry, wouldn't do well. But what it does have is great properties for glazes, for salmon, for pork, for any kind of fish. That's what I used it on. Some pork loin. I used it on some salmon. I used it on some tilapia as a glaze, and I did it by itself. I wanted to see what it would do without any other product. I didn't use a rub. I didn't use any, I did use a touch of olive oil just for the moistness for the fish. And on the salmon and on the tilapia, I did use a little bit of a rub product on the pork. I take that back. But on the fish itself, delicious. This is a easy 4 Fiery Worlds. And I don't take anything back that it's got curry in it, because the curry is light. It's not a heavy curry. You get the sweet, you get a nice blend of savory with this. You get the honey, but you get the honey with the mustard and the curry. And it's just made to be a glaze, in my opinion. And just absolutely delicious. The only takeaway I'd give to this product is the mustard seed that's in it. A little bitty mustard seeds that aren't ground down. And so from a texture standpoint, but in using, it could be a detractor, but in using it as a glaze and it cooks in, and then most people will put some cracked black pepper or some black pepper. I did not, but that would be a natural thing to do, and a little bit of salt. If you wanted more heat, you could use ghost pepper. But her honey is outstanding. And, like I said, I didn't see it on Amazon. I did not see it on her website. So I'll contact her and give you an update in case it is available and I just missed it, so that you can put the availability in the show notes. But if somebody's interested in something like that, they should ask her, because it is a jam-up product and an easy 4 Fiery World product for me. So that's it, Scott. I mean, 2 great new companies that are out there, and like you and I were talking before the episode started about, it's about exposing individuals to not the pedestrian, not the novelty, but true gourmet level products from small batch makers that are interested in a quality product that adds dimension to their food. And I think both of these folks have a future if they market smart and they work their products, I think that they can have a good future in our industry.
And that's what we want to do. We want to expose companies that will offer something different, that gourmet level quality, not just throwing together, a salt and vinegar and chili pepper sauce. Anybody could do that. But somebody just offers something off the beaten path, something with real substance to it.
Yeah.
If they market it right, they may have a chance, and we certainly want to help out.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, go check it out. BlazinBobsHotPepper.com. Like I said, I highly recommend his smoke pepper blend. And then Half Crocked, that's a cool name, HalfCrockedChef.com. And then they're on Amazon, Half Crocked Chef, and look for the Be Well logo. And you'll find those products as well. And ask her to make her honey and make it available.
We will definitely do that. And again, those links will be in the show notes for this episode. So look it up at thefirecast.com or scottrobertsweb.com, wherever you happen to be looking.
Sounds great, man.
Well, Ken, thank you for some outstanding reviews. Anything else you want to plug before we get off the call?
No, just, promote small batch. We'll say it, promote our industry, go to those companies, either at your farmers markets or online, the internet, and just support that small batch fiery food manufacturer and maker and help spread that love.
Excellent. That's what we try to do here.
Yeah, man, because, Scott, you and I both know, and we know that your audience knows, that it is a fiery world.
All right. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Scott. Take care.
Thanks again, Ken, and I will put up links to those two brand new companies in the show notes for this episode, for episode 70 of the Firecast. You can either go over to scottrobertsweb.com or thefirecast.com. Look for the entry for the Firecast podcast episode 70, and you click on those links or any other links that are mentioned in this episode. Of course, I want to give a big shout out to Ken's website, fieryroll.com. Now, Ken himself is not only a good speaker, but he is a fairly good writer too, and it's one of the things I look for in, hot sauce and spicy food reviews in general. So if you're looking for some good, basic, and still well-written criticism in coverage of fiery foods, I urge you to go over to fieryworld.com. So good stuff, Ken. Great reviews there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a little break. When we come back, we are going to have my picks for the best products of 2014. So stick around.
Looking for a straightforward user interface and a cost-effective, feature-filled multi-track recording software? Call off the search! Mixcraft from Acoustica has exactly what you're looking for. It's time to include reliable audio creation and editing software with real punch into your projects. Check out Mixcraft now over at acoustica.com/Mixcraft and start a new generation of audio creation and editing today.
This is Paul's Tree Service.
A person is calling through Relay, Missouri. This is operator.
Yeah, but we're not interested.
Who was that?
Just one of those annoying telemarketers.
Wrong. You just hung up on a customer. One who wanted to spend money with your business. A customer who happens to be deaf, hard of hearing, or who has a speech disability, calling you through Relay, Missouri. Relay Missouri is a free service that allows people who are deaf, hard of hearing, or who have a speech disability to communicate over the telephone with you and your business. Don't hang up. This could be new business. For more information on Relay Missouri, take a minute to log on to RelayMissouri.com and open the door to a whole new group of customers. Become part of a growing community that is silent but can speak volumes for your business. Relay Missouri brings the hearing and deaf, hard of hearing, and people with speech disabilities together at no charge with no sign-up and no monthly fee. Log on to RelayMissouri.com and find out how you can start communicating with these new customers today.
Having a friendly, relatable voice can mean all the difference in your marketing efforts. Let Scott Roberts VoiceOver be that voice. I can give you the goods, whatever your need is, whether it be for commercials, podcasts, voicemail systems, and on-hold messages, business presentations, websites, corporate narration, audiobooks, and more. If you require a real, personable, down-to-earth voiceover artist, then look no further. You can find out more at scottrobertsvoice.com. That's scottrobertsvoice.com.
Hi, this is famous Dave Anderson, and when I'm not out in the back smoking up some great tasting barbecue, I'm listening to the Firecast with Scott Roberts.
And now, the special feature of the week.
Okay, we are back, and here is something I've been looking forward to for a long time. It is what I consider to be the best products, the best food enhancers, sauces, things that are in the spicy food world, the barbecue world, things that I've tasted for the first time in the year 2014. Now, my criteria is very simple. As I just mentioned, it's things that I've eaten and tried in the past calendar year. From January 1st, 2014 up until now, some of these products may have been released last year. And in the past, my best food products of the year, sometimes they've been released many years beforehand, but I had not tried them until that particular year. So that is what I go on. So there may be a case or two where you say, well, Scott, I knew about this last year. Why are you just getting around to it now? Well, just simply, I haven't tried it yet until this year. Another criteria, these should be commercially available over the internet for sale. Now, there are many, many great mom and pop food manufacturers who will be at places like farmers markets, who have just terrific products, pepper jellies and salsas and sauces to try. But unfortunately, unless they are on the internet and they're available to at least a nationwide audience here in the U.S., let alone a worldwide audience, I will not consider them to be in the running, because I want you, the listeners, to be able to go to the website and buy the product now. Now, there is one case here in this list where the product was seasonal, or temporary, so to speak, and I am hoping that this manufacturer will bring this product back. And, of course, I will get to it here in a few minutes. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the list. Oh, yeah! The best hot sauce. There are just hundreds and hundreds of terrific products that, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate a 3.5, a 4, 4.5, and 5 stars. Just so many deserving products, great companies, hardworking people, who had made chili pepper sauces that blew me away. And I would love to be able to give 100 honorable mentions to people. They deserve it. They truly deserve the exposure. But I have to whittle it down to one every year. And this was the toughest category, as you can imagine. It's probably the toughest one each year that I grade on, that I judge on. But my pick for best hot sauce of 2014 is Lucky Dog Black Label Extra Hot Fire Roasted Pepper Sauce. Scott Zolkind, who I've had on the podcast, he runs Lucky Dog Hot Sauces, one of the best makers of hot sauces to come out, and to come out charging out of the gate in the past 2 or 3 years. He has an absolutely fantastic lineup with Lucky Dog, extremely flavorful sauces, full of great chili pepper and garlic and onion and vegetable-like flavor in each one. They are just stellar all-purpose sauces, and his products are, based on different heat levels and things like that. He has, the red and the yellow and the green and the pink and the purple, but the black label, it's the extra hot sauce. And of course, I do not look for just pure heat. I look for flavor every time. Flavor will beat fire every single time for me. But my God, he has hit a grand slam home run in the bottom of the ninth in the last game of the World Series. And this product, the black label one, it's just a winner. Fantastic taste. A terrific heat for chili heads. Now, if you're not a chili head, this will be too hot for you. But for the chili heads like myself, who are looking for fantastic flavor and good heat, this is a perfect table sauce. This is something you will love, and it's an everyday type of sauce, too. So Scott Zolkind, you did it again, my friend. Terrific job with your Black Label Extra Hot Fire Roasted Pepper Sauce. Oh, yeah! The next category is Best Barbecue Sauce. And I have to admit, nothing that has come out this year has completely blown me away as far as new sauces. There have been a lot of great contenders. 3, 3.5, 4, maybe 4.5 stars out of 5. Very, very worthy sauces. So this one was kind of hard for me to pick as well. And this one is not new to 2014. I tasted a couple of other sauces they had put out last year. But this one impressed me enough to where whenever I thought of a new barbecue sauce this year, this always popped into my head. And you may be asking, okay, Scott, what is the sauce? It is Trifecta Gourmet Sauces Sweet Heat Barbecue Sauce. This one just has a terrific tomato-like flavor. There's enough sweetness and richness without it being overly sugary, without it being overly way too bold with molasses and brown sugar flavor. It's terrifically balanced. It's another Kentucky sauce, and for some reason, Kentucky, I don't know if it's just a geographic thing, or maybe just the slew of Kentucky barbecue sauce makers out of the past few years really know how to strike a good balance. And yeah, there's the stereotypical regionalities, Kansas City style, Carolina style, Memphis style, whatever. This kind of is on the fence of a lot of different regionality styles, a lot of different flavor profiles, and it's got good heat. It's got a little bit of spiciness, not way too much. So if you're not a chili head, this will not set your mouth on fire. So good stuff, goes great with everything. Hot dogs, burgers, pork shoulder, ribs, chicken, wings, beef. It's just a good all-around sauce. My pick for best barbecue sauce of the year is Trifecta Gourmet Sauce's Sweet Heat Barbecue Sauce. Oh, yeah! And my choice for best barbecue rub. This one, again, was a little tougher. Now, I taste a lot of ones that were pretty good, but not necessarily superstars. And it got me thinking about my own habits in the kitchen and outside on the grill or the smoker. This year, I've used a lot of the old standbys. Some of the new ones that have come along, of course, I've experimented with them. I've tested them and reviewed them, most notably for my guest appearances on the Barbecue Central radio show hosted by Greg Rimpey. And I kind of had to look back and see, well, what really did impress me, what wowed me. So I kind of had to look back, and it really wasn't that easy to see what really blew me away and what really impressed me. As I said, many good products, many that deserve exposure, but it was just harder to pick out a number one. And this one that I picked out, I kind of alluded to just a little while ago as being maybe seasonal or temporary, but all in all, I had to pick Heartbreaking Dawn's Pit Seasoning Dry Rub. And this is a product that Heartbreaking Dawn's owner Johnny McLaughlin created last year, 2013, as he kind of experimented and branched out into pit beef, his own barbecue and grilling exploits. And this really, really works on a lot of different products. And yet, it's probably geared a little bit more towards beef. So if you're thinking of cooking, a brisket, some tri-tip, a steak, even grilling some burgers, this is geared more towards it. It's just a hearty, good, rock-solid blend of savoriness, a little bit of sweetness too. And because of that, I've used it on pork. I've used it on chicken, and even cooking stuff indoors just as an all-purpose seasoning. I sprinkle a little bit of this, add some other types of things, and it's worked really, really well. Now, currently, it's not available on a Heartbreaking Dawn's website. I don't know if Johnny's ever going to bring it back, or as I said, it might be a seasonal thing. So that's something I will definitely look into. And if you're curious about trying it yourself, contact them at Heartbreaking Dawn's. Contact Johnny or Nicole and ask them about the Pit Seasoning Dry Rub, which I would pick for the best seasoning or rub I've tried in the past 12 months. Oh, yeah! The next category is Best Salsa. And this one is nothing that I bought myself or received a review bottle of, or in Salsa's cases, a review jar. Somebody else had bought this, and I had tried some of this, and I absolutely loved it. And for whatever reason, I've just kind of procrastinated and never ordered a jar for myself. And my pick for best salsa is Monkey McGee's Sweet Apple Salsa. Monkey McGee's is a new brand, a new company, created by Chef Kaz, and you may be familiar with the lineup El Gringo Loco. Well, Monkey McGee's is something that Chef Kaz has come out with. Yes, you have stuff that's just slightly off the beaten path, slightly off kilter, and that is what Chef Kaz excels in. He is great at that kind of stuff. Just kind of quirky experiments in salsa and food enhancers. And this was really, really addictive. A sweet apple, yeah, it's not going to go great with everything. It's not good for savory applications. But for dipping and even adding to things like pie and ice cream, it's really, really good. Again, that is Monkey McGee's Sweet Apple Salsa. Oh, yeah! All right, best sweet heat. Oh, I love the sweet stuff. The sweet salsa that I just mentioned wowed me. And, I have a sweet tooth, and the combination of sweet and heat is something near and dear to my heart. And there were a lot of stellar products in this category I could have picked. But this one is a variation of what I call the best product of last year. And this one is OMG Williger's Spiced Pumpkin and White Chocolate Cream Formula Chocolate Elixir. Yeah, that's a mouthful. but the OMG Willikers chocolate elixirs are something created by Chad Lowcock of Rice City Sauce Works. It is a different brand lineup that he started maybe 1 or 2 years ago, where he had what he first called a drinking chocolate. It's basically not really a syrup, not really a sauce, but just something kind of inspired by the Mesoamericans, something with a lot of good chocolate flavor, a great deal of chili pepper heat, but think of the base usage of just having a shot glass full of this stuff, of a nice chocolatey liquid with all kinds of other flavors that dance in your mouth, and you get hit with a lovely amount of chili pepper heat. Well, that's what this is. So anyway, Chad had kind of named this lineup OMG Willikers, and he came up with that name because of the letters OMG, which of course stand for oh my god, or oh my goodness, to kind of have a politically correct way of saying that. Because whenever people would try some of this chocolate elixir stuff, that would be one of the first things they would exclaim, oh my god, this is good. That type of thing. And I think those were literally my first words when I tried this stuff. So previously, he came out with a couple of different incarnations of this. And last year, I picked the white chocolate and caramel version. This year, he's come up with a spiced pumpkin and white chocolate cream. And again, this is almost as good as the stuff he had last year. Just imagine a good, spicy, using pumpkin spice, things like cinnamon and nutmeg and allspice. Things that give it a nice kind of fall flavor to it. Mixing it with white chocolate and other really, really good decadent stuff, and adding the spice of chili peppers with it. It is so good as a coffee enhancer, as something to put over vanilla ice cream. It is so good. Chad Lowcock has scored a touchdown with these types of products, and in a really tight competitive field for best sweet heat, this one wins it for me. Oh yeah! The next category is best snack product. And this is any type of snack product that employs chili pepper heat for a good part of the flavor profile. And this one may surprise a lot of you. It's something I've reviewed on my blog, scottrobertsweb.com, maybe about a month ago. Yes, it is made by a very large corporation. I'm talking about Frito-Lay. And the winner for Best Snack Product of 2014 is Ruffles Deep Ridge Classic Hot Wings Potato Chips. It's a good, thick, hearty cut of potato chip. It's not necessarily the thickness of some of the kettle chips that you may be familiar with, but the deep ridges allows for a lot of the flavoring, a lot of the sprinkles to really coat and cover the surface of the chips. And they're not shy with the amount of flavoring they put on here. There is a lot. They're not chintzy. I hate chips like that. I hate snack products where you look at a potato chip and it looks, naked, like it's light yellow color. No, these are deep orange color with the flavoring. That's not exactly like buffalo wings, but very similar, and it just hits an addictability level all on its own. If there's any gripes with it, well, just me as a chili head, I probably wish it would be just a little spicier. Of course, you have to please the general public, and they've hit just a nice happy medium, or a nice, in this case, happy mild. But these are chips I could just plow through a whole big bag all in one sitting. Just a really, really good product. Again, it's the Ruffles Deep Ridge Classic Hot Wings Potato Chips. Oh, yeah! My pick for best spicy condiment. These are the things that don't necessarily fit within the category of hot sauce, barbecue sauce. So the things that would be in this category, spicy mayos, ketchups, mustards, steak sauces, you name it. And this one is El Diablo Hot and Spicy Mustard Habanero version. Again, that's El Diablo Hot and Spicy Habanero Mustard. Earlier this year, I reviewed 6 of El Diablo's spicy mustard products. They're all very, very good. I was very impressed. And there were a couple of them that rated 4.5 out of 5 stars, in my opinion. And I think this one edged out the other 4.5 star, and I think that was the Chipotle version. But the habanero mustard goes great on everything. A good amount of heat for chili heads. It's not going to completely obliterate your mouth with its heat, but just a great balance of flavor and fire. So I am very impressed with El Diablo's brand, but the habanero version is a clear winner for me. Oh, yeah! All right, next product, Best Burn. Now, in years past, I have put products that have, this is based slowly on heat, that would burn me the most. So yeah, there have been extract sauces, and ghost pepper, and scorpion, and reaper products, or just pure capsaicin itself. Well, you know what? I'm going to kind of modify the definition of this category. It's no longer going to be the hottest product I've eaten in the past year, because I think we've already hit the peak with how hot stuff could be with pure capsaicin, So I'm going to modify it to mean the best extra hot sauce that I've had. The best tasting product that also had a fantastic amount of heat. So the winner in this category for best burn would be Born Ahula's Reaper of Sorrow Carolina Reaper Hot Sauce. And this past month, I had done an extensive review, a battle of different Carolina Reaper hot sauces, where I pit them all together, including Born Ahula's Reaper of Sorrow, and Reaper of Sorrow won out. It was the most versatile, best tasting, most quintessential example of an all-purpose Carolina Reaper hot sauce that also had a good amount of heat to it. So therefore, it wins in this category for me. Now in true Born Ahula style, this is not a flavor profile that is just way out of left field, and it's not otherworldly and different and exotic. There are a lot of things that kind of brought in to complement the overall flavor profile. Now I'm talking about tomatoes and fermented red jalapeno peppers, of course some Carolina Reaper peppers, garlic, onion, and a few other things as well. I've used the term all-purpose a lot in this episode, and this one truly is. It goes great on a lot of different things, and it's just not Asian style. It's just not Mexican style, in my opinion. Now, on a bottle itself, it kind of bills itself as a sriracha style. That certainly doesn't mean this is a sriracha sauce. Now, it's kind of reminiscent of sriracha in a lot of ways. It's got the fermented red jalapeno peppers, strong garlic presence, some sweetness to it, but it is just so much more. Now, since it has a lot of the heat from the world's hottest chili pepper, Smokin' Ed's Carolina Reaper pepper, this is yet another great product for hardcore chili heads to use as a table sauce. It's just an all-around winner, good savoriness, good sweetness, good heat, so this wins best burn of a hot sauce. Oh yeah! Okay, we finally come down to this. What is my favorite product of the year? Is it going to be one of the things that I've mentioned in one of the previous categories? Or is it going to be something else that I might not have mentioned that might not have easily and neatly fit into the aforementioned groupings? Well, let me just cut to the chase. My favorite product for 2014 is... Johnny, drum roll, please.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Born Ahula's Reaper of Sorrow Carolina Reaper Hot Sauce. Yep, when the dust is settled, this one has impressed me the most. It's just an outstanding, good, basic product that would appeal to a lot of people. It's not too specialty. It's got a good general flavor, and like I said before, it has a lot of tendencies, a lot of attributes of a sriracha hot sauce. And I know sriracha has been the big trend in the past year or two. So it will appeal to sriracha fans. The latest king of the hill of the heat race, Carolina Reaper peppers, it utilizes the flavor and the heat of the Carolina Reaper peppers very effectively. It's just not heat for heat's sake. It does all those things well, and it wraps everything into one fantastic package that I have just fallen in love with. So for Ed and Amy Buchholz of Born Ahula, congratulations. You guys did great. And congratulations to all the winners. You know, one of the big pleasures I derive from trying out these hundreds of products every year is stumbling upon something that will just knock me out in a good way. I'm always looking for the next big thing, and when I find some of these and I'm able to say, okay, this one is the winner in this particular category, it's the best example of fill in the blank. There is nothing like it. I'm a foodie fan. I love all kinds of food and cuisines and flavors, profiles, chili pepper types. So I just love it, stumbling upon these great flavors and being able to bring it to you, the audience, and tell you what I think is best. So again, congratulations to all the winners. Big thumbs up to all of you, and a big thumbs up to just hundreds and thousands of you, the artisan, the craft sauce makers, seasoning makers, hardworking men and women all around the country, all around the world for that matter, who shed their blood, sweat, and tears, sacrificed time and energy and money into creating some of these fantastic products. My hat goes off to all of you, and one thing I've always tried to encourage to my blog readers and now my podcast listeners is to help support these companies. They bust their asses to bring you some of these products, and the only way they're going to survive in this really hyper-competitive industry is with your support. So go back and listen to some of my product reviews. Read my product reviews on my blog, scottrobertsweb.com. Find out what is truly good out there. You may not necessarily agree with my choices every time, but buy from and support these hardworking companies who are struggling to make your meals much, much better. And every single one of the past winners certainly has done that for me. And I thank you so much. So that's it. Again, congratulations to the winners. I also want to say thanks to a lot of people. First and foremost, thank you, my fellow chili heads, barbecuers, everyone who's listened to, downloaded, subscribed to the Firecast podcast. Everyone who's read my blog, has taken the time to send an email, even if it's just a quick note, even if you're one of the just hundreds and thousands of lurkers out there who's never said a word. I just want to thank everyone for your support, your love, your generosity, your kindness. And without all of you, none of my efforts, none of my passions here in the blogging or podcasting world could be possible. I also want to give a shout out to Greg Rimpey of the BBQ Central Radio Show for allowing me to be a sauce and rub reviewer on the show. I want to give a big thank you to my friend Ken Alexander for his hard work, our great conversations, for his contributions to the Firecast. He's a great person to know. I also want to give thanks to a couple of guys who provided some articles, some reviews for ScottRobertsWeb.com, Rudy Forsberg and Matt Legall. Thank you very much, gentlemen. My Christmas present for you this year may be belated, but I will get it for you just as soon as I can. I also want to give a shout out to my boys, Corey and Kevin, to my girlfriend, Michelle, and all of my family and friends around the world. I love you guys, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for your love, encouragement, friendship, support. You guys are what I live for every day. So that's it for episode 70 of the Firecast. I want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hope that God bestows many blessings on all of you. And oh yeah, coming up the very next episode of the Firecast, right after the new year, I'm going to be speaking with Ed and Amy Buchholz of Bornahula, creator of what I think is the best product of 2014. I'm actually about to interview them in just a few minutes. It's going to be kind of funny. And I'm going to break the news to them for the first time. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So anyway, that's enough of me rambling on. Thanks to everybody for listening. God bless you all. And until next time, remember, keep it burning.
Thanks for listening to the Firecast. If you haven't already, you can subscribe to this podcast via iTunes or at the official website at thefirecast.com. Thanks again, and remember, keep it burning.
Bornahula. Bornahula? Bornahula.